Could we actually see other World War One vehicles in War Thunder? Well, guys, it is kind of complicated, and with the World War One mode that we had, it is basically a test to going backwards in time instead of just going forward in time, right? It kind of feels like Gaijin is testing to do another game, or even adding these vehicles to War Thunder themselves, you know. But the thing is, these vehicles are kind of really bad. And it wouldn't bring anything too crazy to the table, but at the same time, they are unique and very different to play with the 20s and 30s vehicles that we normally have in the earlier tiers, right? So at the end of the day, guys, I believe, yes, we actually could see more of these vehicles. I honestly think that tanks are a lot easier. Of course, now with the tanks that we had, there are other variants, there are other tanks that we can see. Other stuff in general, like armored cars, were used by, many countries. We have other types of tanks. We kind of only got like heavy tanks from World War One, but stuff like the Renault FT tank, the FT-17, for example, could be added. I mean, it has basically no armor, but yeah, it could have a 37 millimeter, hotkeys, of course, and it would be very, very slow, but it could actually be something that can be added, and these tanks are very iconic for that war, right? And they can actually be added in a way that they would be, somewhat competitive in their own respective BR. But at the same time, don't expect anything too crazy that would basically be something that a lot of people would get and even want, to be honest, because if you watch the comments from many content creators, my channel included, and you can even see a lot of people in forums and everything, a lot of people were loving this mode and these tanks and everything, but at the same time, a lot of people were saying that they were kind of useless. So maybe it's even a test to see how people would actually react of having these tanks, because or these vehicles in general, because they are going to be really bad compared to other stuff that we are accustomed to. I mean, imagine comparing a 1960s MiG-21 F-13 to a 1980s, MiG-29, right? It is a big change in performance. It's way more, it's even bigger than the performance between the 1917 to 1940s, right? But still, it would be kind of like that big jump, so it would be complicated to add these vehicles because, of course, we only have the BR of 1.0 WoW to actually have them added. And at the same time, they're gonna face stuff that are from the 30s and 40s even, right? So, I mean, a Panzer III, for example, of a BR of 1.3, it has basically twice as much penetration to the 1.0 A7, which is kind of funny, isn't it? So it's complicated, but at the same time, it would be fun. Again, there aren't that many options, and of course, I don't think they will add anything with that. But you guys tell me in the comments if you'd like to see more of these vehicles. It's been a thing that a lot of people have been asking for a very long time, and I gotta be honest, especially with aircraft. Aircraft has been something that a lot of people have been asking for, World War One, aircraft, and Gaijin kind of listened to that, and they're doing their own game, Ace of Thunder, I think it's called, right? And with that, you could actually play with those aircraft that are from World War One, but that game is VR, if I'm not mistaken, so it's not included with, proper War Thunder. I'm gonna get to some matches, and I'm gonna do a proper video to see if at least the bomber, because the Fokker and the French, fighter aircraft, they do not have a way basically of us to getting it. You have to basically get the bomber to be able to, get into real matches. And I'm gonna get to one of these matches with that vehicle to be able to see if I can actually, get kills or do anything with it, because at the end of the day, these vehicles, even in the aircraft, even the reserves, you know, the Nimrods and D500s and P26s and, you know, the I-16 and I-15, they are all much better than these aircraft. So in the tanks, I think everything is possible, and I definitely think they should add more of these. But in the aircraft, it is really complicated because these aircraft are really bad. Like, really bad. So I doubt that we will see many of these aircraft that are made during the time frame of World War One, right? They are really weak, especially in the power. These engines, they were really weak. You know, I mean, we have a 6-cylinder engine like in the, you know, Fokker, the D7, if I'm not mistaken, it is, right? And that engine, I mean, a 6-cylinder engine, that it's a pretty big engine, a Mercedes engine or a BMW engine, but it produces like 160 horsepower. So it's, you know, it's very weak. And with that, it is even a difficult aircraft to do dogfights in. You gotta treat it like nothing else. There was even a comment in one of the videos yesterday talking about it. I mean, you cannot play these aircraft like it was a World War II aircraft because they have so little power that you have to just really chill out with the amount of turns you do, you know. So it's a very hard aircraft to dogfight and very different from the early biplanes that we see. So to be honest, Gaijin actually introduced the perfect biplanes as reserve aircraft for us to actually get because of how, you know, difficult these World War One are to maintain in the sky with such little power, right? So, but at the same time, they could add, you know, maybe a 0.7 BR, something like that. That would be the new reserves, you know, or add them all as reserves, basically, for us to actually get. Because, of course, at the end of the day, all of these air forces, all of these vehicles in general, they were used past World War One, right? I'm not gonna say most of them were used during World War II, especially by the main competitors in that war, but there are, you know, secondary countries regarding that fought in World War II or even in the 30s that would use these vehicles, right? Again, I doubt that. I mean, there probably were some few, you know, battles, interwar periods of, or even World War II, that these vehicles were used, but not really, right? So it's kind of complicated to have, and this is the main problem, having these vehicles from the 1910s fighting 1930s vehicles onwards, right? Which is the reserves. So it's complicated. They probably should have their own BR, and then, yes, then we can have a whole bunch of them being added. But if not, probably not the greatest idea. But you tell me in the comments if you think that we should have more or less World War One vehicles in the game, including aircraft and stuff. Of course, ships, we already have a lot of them, but still. And I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see you.